I think it's still morning. It's been raining, so I'm not up at my normal time. It's been raining for like 6 hours. I swear this is the times that Jesus talked about. We're seeing unusual events around the world, things that are happening. A massive fire pretty much wiped out a town on Maui, which is one of the Hawaiian Islands. I think there's some 35 people killed by it. A lot of them had to just run into the ocean to get away from it. I don't remember the last time that happened. The amount of rain we're getting here in Georgia and all over the east at least. The drought that was affecting out in the west is pretty much over in many places. There are places that don't get rain, period. They're known for that. They're in the desert. All right, so we're in the end times. We know what to expect. Jesus has warned us. But one of the key things that we're going to see, and we're seeing pretty much every day. I was watching some news where they walked into a store in San Francisco and just started taking things and walked right back out. Nobody tried to stop them. The police didn't come. Days of lawlessness. That's what we're going to be seeing worse and worse. You can't defend against it if the government doesn't care. There's a group that went to court over Antifa, and they're being harassed, threatened, and the judge knows about it. He's doing nothing to stop it. So if you're one of these lawless groups, the government likes you. You're doing their job for them, so they don't have to do it. They're coming across the border. I saw pictures yesterday. Armed men, fully armed, obviously assault weapons of some sort, vest full of bullets, and body armor coming across the border because they pretty much opened it up. They're picking them up and dropping them off in major cities around the country, Democratic-controlled cities, and they're complaining, saying, you can't put these people here. Stop them from coming across the border. There's not going to be anything left of our country here soon, so just be prepared. I've told you to be prepping. All they have to do is a little bit of work, and they could shut down our infrastructure. The power grid can be shut down almost instantly. In areas we've seen it go down because of stupid accidents. Well, imagine if they want it to be deliberate. Your whole power grid can go down. So you're going, I got food in the refrigerator. Do you also have a generator? And do you have enough gas for that generator for 2 to 3 weeks? Prepping. Not to prep against a war or a nuclear catastrophe, to prep against the government who wants you dead, because Satan wants you dead. If you're a Christian, there may or may not be a bullseye on your back, depending on how much you're active. But people like me and other people that are teaching, yeah. Amir had trouble getting one of his videos up, and he had to get everybody to go to Twitter to see one of his videos. All the stuff that's going on over there now. We're right on the edge. We can't take another step. Any other move will create the next war. We're on the edge. We're in the days of lawlessness. So let's take a look at 2 Thessalonians 2. 7 is where we're going to start, I think. Well, let's go back to 5. Do you remember when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. The mystery of lawlessness, that's basically Satan's realm, is already at work. He who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, the lawless one, the Antichrist, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's at the end. He will reign on this earth for a good period of time. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteousness, deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of truth, that they might be saved. Christians will be raptured. We don't know when. And it's being snatched away, so it means it's got to be right up to the edge of Christians being killed, dying in mass numbers, because of the lawlessness that's going on and the lawless one stepping forward. I don't think we're going to see him. I mean, we already see him and probably know who he is, but he's not the Antichrist yet. He has to die and be taken over by the Apollyon. Okay, well, let's turn over to Matthew 24. We've spent some time here. Well, no, I want to go back and read one first. Matthew 7:23. 7:23. And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. So these are people who are preaching and healing and doing all these things in Jesus' name, but are not Christians because they didn't accept him yet. They're just seeing that they can get attention, they can get the glory of what Jesus would have had available. Were they doing it the right way? They're trying to get it the cheap way. And it's lawlessness. Satan is letting them do some of this stuff. Jesus is going to say, I don't know you. You know me, but I don't know you. Love is a two-way street. That probably would work good in a song, huh? Okay, now let's turn over to Matthew 24. We know his famous Olivet Discourse. And we're going to go to 24. 12 is where we want to get to, but do I want to start there? Listen under the heading of the sign of the times. Let me go back to 6. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation. I'm going to get my camera right. And kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in various places. These are the beginning of sorrows. Better translated, these are the labor pains. The beginning of them. So as you start seeing these things happen, it's the beginning. Labor pains can last all the way up till the birth and even a little bit after. They get stronger, closer together. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. It's already happening on many parts of the world. The United States has been the only real haven for Christians to not be subject to that. That's about to end because they are destroying our country and there's going to be nothing left of it here. We are the only nation in the world that can stop this. So they are definitely going to destroy us. And they don't care if somebody else attacks us. Russia, if they didn't see what we were doing, would have attacked us already. And he goes, why should I waste ammunition and men on attacking a country that's already destroying itself? So we haven't been attacked. And many will be offended and betray one another and will hate one another. There will be many false prophets rise up. Be careful when people say they have the answer and start giving you what appears to be prophetic information. I tell you, those that are trying to predict the rapture, don't fall into that trap. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. You're seeing it. What's the one thing Satan hates? The love of God. If he can stop love, then he will be real close to winning. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world. We never had the technology to do that before. With satellites and with cable internet and things like that, it can go around the world, literally, live. When the 3 witnesses come on the scene and are killed, the whole world will be able to watch that live. They'll be able to see them get up live. And there will be many out there that are real good at imitating. The Antichrist, of course, is going to be the best one, but they're going to be copies of him too. They all want attention, and Satan doesn't care how many people copy him. He's not worried that they're going to ever be able to equal him. I just kind of want to drop down to 24:29 because I think this is one of the tie-in verses that we talk about all the time. But just think about it. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. Now we already know that the seals go from at some point when they start till the end of the tribulation time frame. And therefore the trumpets have to overlap, or they'd have to happen at the end, and there's things happening at the end, so the trumpets can't be there. They're overlapping. And the bowls will be overlapping midway through the tribulation time frame. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Go read Revelation 6:6. It's the 6th seal. There's still the 7th seal, but that's a calm before the ending. But the bottom line is, immediately after the tribulation, you're going to start seeing the heavens explode, as if they haven't been through enough. This is the 6th seal. The first 5 were horrendous. But Jesus is tying in this scripture to Revelation. The powers of heaven will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven. Okay, now he's coming back. After all this other stuff. But it's too late now. But we will get many Christians through this tribulation time frame. However long it is. We have some that teach we've already been through the first 3.5. That's fine. We have some that teach that it's going to be, and it says so, it's going to be shortened so the people will live. He's got to have some people left over because they got to go into the millennium. If he kills off all mankind, that won't work. So he's going to shorten the days. But this stuff is coming, and we're in the days of lawlessness. How many times do you see somebody? I live in the Atlanta area. There are shootings pretty much every day in the Atlanta area. People die pretty much every day from gunshot wounds. It's like the other major cities, like Detroit and Chicago and all these other ones. I don't know about the daily count, and this is anecdotal that it's daily. The last 2 or 3 days, I remember people getting shot. Car chases where they have to shoot the runner when they finally catch up with him because he turns the gun on them. Days of lawlessness. We're here. Wherever you live, it's lawlessness. I'm somewhat isolated by staying in parks. If I was back in the city, it would be a problem. We went down there for a little bit this last week, and there's just, there's always people walking along talking to themselves, beggars asking for money. They've always been there. They've been there for years. It seems like and they've got tents now. The people used to live in the bushes, and they'd have a little tarp they'd pull over them. They got full-blown tents like I live in along the freeway downtown. They're making it impossible for the average person to live. The cost of food is up. I carried out $70 worth of food in my hands, and I held them in one hand at one point as I was opening my car, going to a Dollar General. $70 that I can hold in one hand, comfortably hold in one hand. If I'd have had a couple of jugs of milk in there, that would have been a little bit different, but I don't have room in my cooler for gallons. I have to get the half gallon, and I drink almond milk. I don't drink the Moog juice because it doesn't like me. All right. I'm telling you to be prepared. Have food stores. We're getting to the point now where I would say keep your gas tank full. I know it's tough in these days. Sometimes I just, through times I just go put $10 worth in. But I would keep your gas tanks full because it might shut off any time. What are you going to do if you got a quarter of a tank? As soon as the problem hits, you're going to have to run to the market and buy up everything they've got. That's what's going to happen. There'll be a run. And then there won't be any food in the markets. Unless you're like candied oysters or some weird combination of stuff that nobody eats. But bread, milk, those would be gone first. Meats, those will be gone. They don't want you eating meat anyway, so clean them out, and then they're going to shut off the supply line. They're going to try to starve us to death. Don't let them, because we don't know when the rapture is. And the food, if you've got any left over after the rapture, will be for those that get left behind. And there will be family members for all of us that will be left behind because they just won't listen. It's hard for you to talk to your own family member. Jesus couldn't go back to his hometown and talk. He walked away and said, I can't teach here. Pray that somebody else who's not a family member will approach him and tell them the truth. They won't listen to you. We've all had problems growing up. We've all sinned growing up. We've all thrown tantrums as children. Now, I don't know how Jesus grew up. I gotta imagine he was a model child, but he's still a child. In the very beginning, Mary had to change Jesus' diapers. He's a human. So when you have a situation like that, it's hard to go back and talk to people. Especially if they've seen you doing some of the things that they're doing that you're now asking them not to do. And you've got to ask. You can't tell people to not sin. You can ask people to not sin and tell them why. Tell them their sins are forgiven. Jesus died on the cross so that we can have our sins forgiven. You just have to accept it. Works are not going to get you to heaven, no matter how good you think you are. You're not good enough. Make sure they know that. And tell them, when we disappear, when we're gone, it is the rapture. It's not aliens, which the world is prepping everybody for. Notice how they're prepping it, and they're all bringing it up now. We have to be getting close, or they wouldn't be bothering to waste time on that. They've got other news stories that they could lie about, let alone aliens. And a lot of people that I used to like to listen to because they had good things to say are being tainted. They're beginning to mix some of the new culture into their rhetoric, and that's a turnoff, so I turn them off from now on. The teachers are finding it harder to teach, myself included. I'm posting these on Rumble, and I will occasionally post on YouTube. Surprisingly, since I'm down to like one video a week, YouTube's not really filtering me too bad because I'm getting more views again. I got over 400 views on my last video. I was certainly under 200, and I got close to 100 on a couple of videos because they weren't letting anybody see them. But now that I'm not up there all the time, they're not filtering as much. I can't go back to turning it on because they would know it. I can't go back to promoting every day because they would know it. Come to Rumble. It's just another app. Yeah, you have to create a login, but they don't mess with you. I have seen them block comments that are insightful, but their term for insightful is not the same as ours. I tell you all the time, don't get involved in a physical fight down here. You will lose big time. This is a spiritual battle. It's best won on your knees. Okay. I've still got plenty of time where we're at because I've got good strong signal to be able to edit and upload this. If this rainy season, that seems to be, it rains more here now, it seems like, anecdotally anyway, than when I was in the Northwest. And we had trees come down. I showed you a couple of pictures. We're getting high winds too. I'm a little concerned about where we're at. We got to spend another week there. See, today's Thursday. We've got one more week from tomorrow, and then we're moving again. I can't use my satellite here because there's only 5 campgrounds, and they're all embedded in the trees. I can't see. 95% of the sky is covered in trees. It makes it cooler, and I can't use my satellite. But we have 5G with T-Mobile here, so that's okay. I can upload. We just can't do anything else on the internet without our phones. I could turn on a hotspot, but they have such limited bandwidth. I eat up all the bandwidth in 2 days, and then they start overcharging me. I've had their hot box, their home internet, and it's got like 100 gig hotspot. That's okay. I recommend it, and it's $50 a month. As long as you have cell signal, it's a good way to get internet if you have no other means. However, I'm not going to pay $50 a month while I'm already paying Starlink $150. And I don't have any revenue coming in anymore from YouTube. And I don't make enough. I think I've made $2 since I switched over to Rumble. I got to get people to increase following me on Rumble. If you're here on YouTube and you like what I'm doing, go sign up on my Rumble account. Or create an account and sign up to my page. Follow my page. My Travels with God is my root page, and then I've created one with spaces, My Travels with God, as a sub page. And I did that on purpose because everything in the primary page is all my old YouTube videos that were copied over. I post them on YouTube, and then Rumble would copy that video over. But all the new stuff that I'm creating that is Rumble specific is coming up on My Travels with God with the spaces. So be sure to look for that when you're looking for me, or just pick up the link when I post it over on YouTube. Every once in a while I forget to save it the right way, and then it won't let me share it that way. But most of the time I will put a link over there to get you to come on over. And the same thing applies on both pages. Like and share. Without it, I can't grow. If I don't grow, more people aren't going to be told about this. You can be part of this ministry by helping out. Share it with your friends. Share it on your page. If you've got followers and you share it on your page, your followers will see it. You can leave a comment. Check this out. You can help and be a part. You should be doing something anyway. And if it's not me, find somebody else that you can help and support. I do have a Patreon account. I think the people that were supporting that for the most part were YouTube people, and YouTube was deleting people for a long time, and they've kind of disappeared off of that. I got a couple left, and I appreciate you being there, but I need more. I don't need a lot. I don't want to be a wealth teacher. I don't want to live in a big mansion, drive a fancy new car. I'm happy with used cars. Mine's a used car. It's got 219,000 on it. I'm the original owner, but it's falling apart. And it's going to start costing money here soon. Big money. I have a differential that's starting to slip. I have a muffler bracket that's broke. I can't work on my car because I can't get underneath it. It's too low to the ground. I used to do all that stuff. I can't do it on this because I don't have a house where I have a garage where I can have jacks and ramps to pull up on, all the things you need to work on cars. I give my toolbox away, full of tools. I still got a couple of sets. If I need to do some minor stuff, I could do it. And I know where they're at. I could go borrow something if I needed it. We don't have a lot of time. I'm hoping that God will keep this car of mine running until I don't need it anymore. In which case, I hope He takes me out of it while it's running. I got an ant on my screen, and it's distracting me. He's still there. It's not hurting anything. It's just across the screen. Play Pong with the ant. We have to do our best to hold on. Stay strong. Don't let the world beat you down. And don't be discouraged, because we don't know how long we're going to be here. We may have to watch more of our great country collapse. And they're forcing it. It's a forced collapse. And I guarantee you, we're either going to be out of here and not see it, or they're going to have the next election, and either Biden or a clone of his will come in, another puppet will be put in place. We won't be able to take our country back because it's too far gone. Satan, when he's not opposed, or when he's given free rein, limited free rein, but free rein, he can accomplish a lot. And he knows he's got limited time. Be prepared spiritually and for your human needs. Food, water, gas. Those are the things we're going to be needing when the crash hits. Food and water, buy as much as you can. Gas, I'm not recommending people go out and buy gas if they don't know how to deal with it. The The rich have gas tanks buried around their property. They can go hook up a pump to and pump out and fill up their vehicles. Anybody who can afford it can have one of those. But you should have enough gas. Get some, properly rated gas cans. I saw a lady taking plastic bags and filling them up full of gas and zipping the top over. My God. Sometimes I get more exercise shaking my head than I do anything else. The idea is right. The execution is wrong. All right. Till we meet in the clouds. Keep everybody in your prayers. Friends, family, this channel, me and my son. We're holding on. But we haven't quit. We can't quit. We don't quit until we're flying. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.